Hey everyone, welcome to another Throwback Thursday. Last week I talked about the Satanic Panic, and basically what I did was I did a video on the pro side of it. In other words, the Christian books that believe that it was true. This episode, I will be talking about the anti-end of it. In other words, excuse me, the end of it, which basically says that the Satanic Panic was another witch hunt that was crazy, essentially. So, I'm going to start off with the Satanic Panic book here, Creation of a Contemporary Legend. He does a pretty good job. Jeffrey Victor, kind of debunking some of the myths. As you can see, he's got some cool comic strips here. You know, you can actually still find these in Christian stores, these interesting small comic books. But anyway, he gets to the heart of it. Basically, when they said there were cattle mutilations, he pointed out that it was predator related, which vets have been telling people forever that it's predators. And then there was the whole, the Satanists are sacrificing animals and all that. Well, he pointed out that teenagers commonly would find dead animals on the road and display them and have kind of haunted legends and all that. And yes, there were some really bad kids that had used Satanism to justify things like murder and taking people's dogs and cats. But he points out that vast majority of the satanic cases did not exist. So, I highly recommend this book. I believe it came out in the 90s. Let's see here. 1993. So, yeah. As you can see, some of the so, rumor panics across the country. Talks about how the rumor panics get started, what was the main cause of it, and so forth. So it's pretty exhaustive overview of why the ideas of the Satanic Panic, quite frankly, are very absurd. And then we have this one here. This is about the Satanic Panic in Britain. It wasn't just the United States that have it. Eventually, other countries started having it too. Australia was a major one, of course, also. And Canada, which, of course, gave birth to the whole Michelle Remembers thing. So, again, this is a pretty good book. You know, there's no illustrations or pictures in it, but it's still a pretty good book. Pretty exhaustive study. So, this book starts off with, what is Satanist? What is a Satanist? Why worship Satan? History of Satan and Impact. Historical Satanism before Michelle remembered. Sex slaves of Lucifer. You know, is your vicar a witch hunter? I'm not paranoid, there is a conspiracy. So, some of the chapters, of course, are really pretty good in this. And I believe this one might be a little bit newer. Yeah, 2001. So, Out of Darkness, exploring Satanism and ritual abuse. So, the abuse of children in ritualistic fashion, which was big in the Satanic Panic. The McMartin daycare, for example, was accused of performing ritualistic sexual abuse on children. Again, I won't go into any details about what that entailed, but needless to say, a bunch of children said that they were sexually abused by daycare workers, including things done to them anally. Again, I don't want to go into too much about it because it is pretty gross. But of course none of it happened, and basically what happened was there was a lot of innocent people that were jailed during that time period, including parents, where the child would basically say they were forced into a satanic ceremony and sexually molested. And of course, whether the parent did it or not, the law was usually on the child's side. So again, this is a pretty good book that debunks it. It also talks about how social workers and therapists would put children under hypnosis and basically suggest certain things would happen to them, and then the child would confirm. Now, this is actually illegal nowadays. A psychiatrist cannot do that. Or rather, psychologists cannot do that now. Because it's been proven to actually either make things worse or not be credible. And in many cases, it definitely was not credible. It was the same thing that was done to Michelle in many ways. But, yes. In Pursuit of Satan is from the perspective of a police officer, Robert D. Hicks. Basically talks about his time on the force and not having any conclusive evidence. Poorly trained therapists and inpatient cult cops have exploited the lecture circuit. So basically this just kind of gives you a overview. So this was published in 1991, and he goes into a long overview, basically debunking the myths. Oftentimes a lot of Christians believe that the police officers themselves were involved in Satanism, and that's why cases went unsolved. If any of you have ever seen the movie Spellbinder, I highly recommend it. It was made during the Satanic Panic time period, and the police are actually involved in the Satanic cult in it. So, as you can see, it's got a very interesting cover here. So, yeah. This is a very good book. I mean, from a police officer's perspective, it is pretty interesting. And then we got the Satanism scare, which is basically, let's see here. It was first printed in 1991. Again, it's psychiatry and occult survivors. They got a chapter on that, the Satanic Threat Children, and these are various authors. So you have Jeffrey Burton Russell. He did a whole series on, history of the devil and all that. Whole Dungeons and Dragons thing. Psychotherapy. Doesn't have any illustrations, but it's still a pretty good book. It kind of goes right along with the Satanic Panic, personally. They're both really good books to have. And then finally, this one just came out fairly recently. This is definitely worth it if you want a quick overview. It's got plenty of, let me move these. So, I have a big pile here. It's got, all kinds of illustrations, photographs, things about Ricky Casso, that book, Say You Love Satan, that I talked about during the last episode, Evil Speak movie, all kinds of stuff about, so, like the 900 numbers, the phone, and all that. I know that some of you watching this video probably don't remember the 900 numbers. But back in the day, on television, they had a lot of 900. I remember a time where, like I said, I'm from the 80s. So, you would be watching TV late at night, and they would have these 900 numbers where you could call and get a woman on the phone, and it was like a phone sex operator. That's basically what they were called. And the film 976 Evil, for example, which was actually directed by the guy that played Freddy Krueger, kind of looks into the dangers of 900. So, you guys might want to check that out. Robert Englund directed it and everything. Filmed it. Of course, Evil Speak is about a kid that gets into contact with a computer and does black mass with it. One of my favorite movies, personally. So, it's a really good book. I think you guys would definitely like this. So, so in conclusion, I actually did go to New York, and I went to that park that David Berkowitz was involved with. I will be doing a video on that. I have to go back to New York City and shoot some more locations about David Berkowitz, but I will be posting that. Just kind of a quick recap on that. It has to do with this book here, this Monetary book. So I actually went to the park that he talks about in this, where supposedly they had satanic meetings and all that. So, anyway. So I could go on and on about the Satanic Panic. You know, there was a lot of colorful characters during it. Tipper Gore, who's the wife of Al Gore, yes, a Democrat, was definitely big on it. She had the Filthy 15 list with all the supposedly the worst rock songs slash heavy metal songs that were dirty. You know, she brought charges against bands. She's the reason why a lot of CDs and vinyl now has parental advisory stickers on them. Those were introduced in the 80s during the Satanic Panic because Tipper Gore didn't like the idea that there were explicit lyrics in music, basically. So, but yeah, it was an intense period, and I believe it will happen again. Trust me, I really believe in it. I don't think it's over. I think all it takes is the Christian right to pull the right strings again and get in office, all that. So, yeah. This is a cool documentary. You can find this on YouTube. It's just a bunch of fans at a Judas Priest concert in the parking lot. Basically, it became a cult classic. So, that's another cool movie, Devil's Reign. So, Anton LaVey was in this one. Anton LaVey, The Church of Satan. So yeah, of course, Bob Larson, like I mentioned last time. So, yeah, I highly recommend this, though. This book. If you don't get any of the other books, you definitely have to get this one. So, anyway, as usual, if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. Seriously, guys. Yes. So, peace out, everyone. Thank you.